guys, welcome to Fulton Street Beats. I'm just playing away a little bit on this Brandon's Custom Shop Bullseye Les Paul style guitar, single cutaway, a little bit different on the horn than a regular Les Paul, much more beautiful headstock. And today's the day where, well, I think I'm going to get around to changing the strings on this a little bit. And we'll dive in and see exactly what's going on these pickups because, man, they really do sound good. Now, to put this in perspective, out of all the guitars that I own, this is my favorite playing guitar, and I do believe it sounds the best. It's just my style. And the neck is perfection. The frets are perfect. It sounds good. There's a few blemishes in the fitment, or not the fitment really, but just in the overall area of the guitar. There's a few cosmetic blemishes, but you really have to really be nitpicking to find them. And but it's a gorgeous guitar, so I gotta clean this up anyhow. I still have not gave this thing a cleaning. I have been playing this thing out of the box. I haven't polished the frets. I haven't did anything. So today we're gonna de-string. We're gonna take the pickups out and see exactly what's going on in there. And you may be surprised to find that a lot of the features that I thought this was gonna have, it doesn't have, but it still does everything excellent. And like I said, it's still my favorite playing guitar, and yes, it is from Brandon's Custom Shop. And their other guitar that I got from them, the blue one back on the wall, is my second favorite playing guitar, but they're totally different, as you'll find out very shortly. Stick around for this episode of Fulton Street Beats and we'll dive right into it. I'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. Here it is. I just sit it on the table. We're going to work on the kitchen table for now. Studio is in use right now, so let's de-string and see exactly what we got going on here. And we can check and make sure everything is perfect when we get done. No, I'm not going to cut the strings because, well, if these strings are decent, which they have been decent, they make good backups in a pinch. So what I like to do is kind of straighten them out so I can get them out of the tailpiece. And I'm going to lay these in order, and what I'll do is I'll roll these back up and put them back in a package. And we're going to run my favorite Slinky Cobalt 9 242s. If you guys haven't tried these, suggest you do. They play like butter. I use these even on my guitars with tremolos. My gems and whatnot. And now that I'm doing this, this is a good time to clean up everything. Brandon's Custom Shop actually sent me an email today. I'll have to read that. I haven't checked it out yet. I don't know what they run on these for strings, but they were really decent sounding strings. The only reason I'm changing them right now is because they held tune really well too. Is because I really want to get to that fretboard, and I really want to see what is the deal with those pickups, because this is an amazing sounding guitar. I'm expecting that they're probably knockoffs, but as a lot of people know, a lot of this stuff coming out of China now has actually got some really good quality, unlike it used to be. So and I've been shredding on this thing hardcore. So the strings were pretty decent. And if you guys watch my video with the Firefly guitar that came with D'Addario strings, or supposed D'Addario strings, I broke a low E string. Well, what it did is it unfrayed, and the core itself must have broke someplace other than where it was unfrayed, because, man, it was just a weird experience. I've never had a low E break on me before, and it broke on my right where it rolls on my roller bridge, and my roller bridge is simply amazing. Now I'm not sure what gauge strings these are. I don't believe they're 9 to 42s. They did play well, but You hear any noise? It's my German Shepherd in the corner deciding to eat her food right now. Nice. I tried to keep these in some kind of order. All right, we'll get to the last one. There we are. Yeah, it's a dirty fretboard. I haven't polished the frets. Actually, the frets appear to be a lot more polished than they were because I've been playing it. But I want to make sure these tuners are tight because we all know how tuners can get loose after a guitar is built and put together, and after a little bit of play, sometimes the nuts come loose. Very, very common. It's not a fault of any manufacturer. It just happens because as things settle in on the guitar, that is what happens. Now we're going to pull this. When we're here, let's pull this tailpiece off, and really want to check out the plating on this. And it's very nice. So the plating on this guitar, all the plating is super, super nice. Very nice. No odd markings underneath or anything like that. I'm going to pull this bridge up. Nice. Nice and stable. They're very good. So I don't want to mess with that too much because that's pretty much dead on. So while we're here, let's get into these pickups. Let me check these tuners, make sure. You see there? Yeah, that's what we run into is loose nuts. I always want to check these because they become loose. And that's just because of the guitar being new. About that, I had to grab my socket set real quick. And I believe I got the right size. There she is. And I just go through and give these a snug by hand at first. Yeah, they all need a snug. And that's just, like I said, from a fresh build. And this can happen on any guitar, Gibson, you name it. You don't want to over tighten these. I'd rather go through and check them every time I string it than over tighten. And there we are. Very cool. All right. So let's get into these pickups. Use a screwdriver. Fast and easy. This guitar is filthy because I've been playing the hell out of it. And it plays like butter. It really does. So let's see what's up with these so-called, they're heavy. Wow, guys. That's a nice pickup right there. These may actually be EMGs, unlabeled. Maybe EMG seconds. I don't know. But definitely a pretty good looking quality pickup. No markings on this pickup on the back side. But definitely looks like an EMG. We got some markings on the inside, quality control markings. It's not shielded on the inside for sure. But it looks rather decent. Let's get into the other pickup too, because I gotta clean this anyhow, and I'd rather have the pickups out. And they did it right. We got the right size screws and the right size pickup rings, so that is good. I've seen that bad before. And here is our other pickup. And okay, so right away, with the routing is really, really decent in this guitar. And I don't probably know if you can't see it, but there you go. It's very decent. Of course, it's not shielded, but really doesn't need to be. Okay, so impressed. The weight of these, they feel like EMGs, but I'm sure they're either knockoffs or seconds of EMGs, but they sound like it. They work fantastic. But let's get into the cleaning aspect because we need to clean this. Now, the first thing I'm going to do before I condition it is I take a clean microfiber and I put alcohol on it. And get all my fingerprints off. all the greases and what have you off of the guitar itself. And I've seen a lot rougher guitars inside than this is, that's for sure. So far so good. All right. Just want to get around it really well right now, and I'm going to do the same thing. And this is do not do this and leave it, by the way, guys. But I'm going to run over the fretboard real quick with this alcohol, and this is going to take off any black residue that might be left over. We're going to condition this and polish these frets, and then do the same thing, and then repeat the steps, and I'm going to do them. So let's place this right here. I don't want it to scratching. And I'm just going to take some .40 steel wool. And I'm going to I don't worry about the fretboard, because this isn't going to do nothing but polish the fretboard if it needs to. And yeah, these are only going to take a couple passes to make these really nice. So the frets on this and the blue one, this one more so, are outstanding. Wow. Yeah, these are very, very nice. And the way that the ends are done, there's zero sharp edges anywhere. You guys are welcome to stick along right here, or you can fast forward, whatever you need to do. I'm going to let you, in case I run into any, yeah, these are polishing up so beautifully. I'm going to do one fast final swipe. And you know, a lot of the times you get these guitars and they have, it looks like damage to the frets already, where they've been ground down, or these are literal perfection. I'm going to take a rag with rubbing alcohol again and get off whatever residue I may have kicked up. It's real quick. Beautiful. Okay. You can take your finger down if you like and get up next to the frets. Close. I'm going to have to do this again when I apply my nutrient to the fretboard. And if you watch this channel, you know what I use for that, and that is organic coconut oil. I believe it's the best thing for a fretboard. And we're going to simply rub it in by hand, our fingers, and this will really condition this fretboard a lot. We want to make sure to get up right next to the frets. No, a lot of people, oh, it's going to make your frets pop out. That is not true. If your frets are improperly, if your frets pop out from coconut oil, then it wasn't put together right. Just keep going back up and working it down. You don't need a lot. So all I did right here should, unless it's a fretboard that's not taking it well, that should do it. Just what's on your fingers. Make sure you get up, because it will show if you don't get up next to the frets. It will show. It's that much of a difference. Okay, so what I do then is I take a dry paper towel. You can use a lint-free rag if you wish, whatever you want. But I find that the paper towels get up in next to the frets, because what will happen with coconut oil, if you don't get it all out, you'll see a buildup or a residue next to the fret, and you don't want that. So this tends to grab it and pull it out. And again, the inlays in this are superb also. And you can see with coconut oil, it grabs, it conditions and cleans better than anything that I've ever used anyhow. Lemon oil, I don't use it. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm going to take a different rag here. I went free rag. Just do a final once over of it. Now I'm going to take the rag that we had before. We're going to go back over the guitar again to make sure that the residue from the steel wool is not all over the place, and make sure we got it off of our pickups if we got any on our pickups. I'm going to set that back in place temporarily. Same thing here, clean off the pickup. Make sure it's clean. And around it, sit it back in temporarily so we're not scratching up anything. And I'll get you over here and you can see this fretboard. Now, does that look better? Gorgeous. Gorgeous. And these frets, it's just like butter down through here. Just like butter. Amazing. Always was. Okay. So that is done. I'm going to bring you back here. Sit you down. Then, what we're going to do while we're here is I'm going to take just a bit of liquid wax. You could do the back anytime, but the front, while you're here, is we're going to apply this. And I'm going to actually apply this wax by hand, and a lot of people don't do this, but I can get into all the grooves where it needs to be. And we're probably going to have to reset up this guitar afterwards because, well, you bump things. You move things ever so slightly, and that's what happens. So, and the face of this guitar is really what I'm worried about at the moment. So, that's my hands. And this isn't going to dry up on me real quick either, so. Move it around, it's on the guitar, so let's get it all over. It needs to be. And get around our knobs. I'm not going to remove the knobs. Every time you remove a knob, you risk breaking something. And there we go. We'll clean up the back later on in the standard method. Okay, now here's the deal. So, this is done right now. So what I'm going to take is a rag. The only thing I'm going to clean up this second is where the pickups were. And I'm going to leave the wax on the guitar, except in the center where the strings go. Okay. So we're just taking the wax out of where we're not going to be able to reach, that's all. Okay. Back in there. So any place we're not going to be able to reach easily is where I'm going to remove the wax. That is it. Okay, so I'm going to leave it on the rest of the guitar. A little protection while we work on it. It really is a beautiful guitar. Then we're going to grab our strings. They are over here. And I'm going to start with my low 42. We're going to put our bridge back on. And we'll check our setup afterwards here. Now, a big thing you want to check is make sure you don't have too much of an angle on your tailpiece, which this isn't. So, and then what I like to do is make sure my tuner hole is in alignment. I should have did this when I took them off, but we can do that real quick right now with all of them. Okay, so we got the strings on. That took a bit of a time because I had a dog issue over here. But we got the strings, the old strings are over here. I gotta still put those away. I've wiped off most of the wax here, and I'm probably gonna come back in later on with some compound and then re-wax just around some certain areas. Take out some light scratches. No, it didn't come that way. That's just from me playing it. But you know what? It's got, at the same time, wax, or not wax, little scratches gives it character, I suppose. A lot of people would say, but it does look great. I hope you guys can see that. Looks fantastic. So, fretboard. There we are. Beautiful, right? Still got to clip the strings up top. Still haven't done that. Got to tune it up still. And check the action and see if I moved it or not. I have a feeling I might have moved it a little bit. If anything, I probably moved it down a little bit. Let's check it real quick before I throw before I tune it up. I just want to check. You know, man, that's a low. It's lower than spec, and loose strings, lower than spec, and no fret buzz so far. Okay, so I think we're going to be fine once we tune it up. But let's get into the back, because this is something you guys have been asking about, and I think that you guys are going to be shocked. I mean, some won't be, some will be. I still haven't taken the stickers off the back up here of those Grover tuners, and I believe they're real because they hold really good. I do think they're seconds, but I do believe they're real simply because there's a little bit of pitting on them, and I have a feeling that that was just a no-go for Grover, and I have a feeling that's what happens to them. So first thing we're going to look at is the switch, and I know, whoop-de-doo, right? Now, I already know what's in here. I've already peeked, but you haven't, and full transparency. And like I said, before we get into this, I want to tell you this is my favorite sounding, favorite playing guitar. So we got a standard switch inside. It feels real good. What is different, if you look up in here, is the way the mounting hole for the plate for the switch itself. I don't know if you can see up in there or not. Probably can't. It's a little more heavy duty than I'm used to seeing on an inexpensive guitar. The solder joints are really, really good. It's a very stable, it's a very, very stable switch. Very solid. And as you can see, there's two sets of holes drilled right here. And I don't think it's a mistake because they're drilled right next to each other, the hole. I just don't think it's a mistake. I think it's so you can, and I believe they line up each way. So yeah, they line up perfectly each way. So I think it's just, I don't know why they did. Yeah, they line up perfectly no matter where you put it. So can't be a mistake, but I guess it could be, but they're perfectly done. So let's get these screws back in, and then we'll pull off take a look at the pots. Again, no shielding on the inside. If you guys can see the binding on this is very nice. Now, I have put some marks on this guitar because, like I said, I've been playing it pretty regularly. I just been doing a series called The Legend of Mr. Mike, if you guys haven't seen that. Check it out. It's kind of like a funny blues traveling guitar skit. And there's one that's going up soon called Mr. Mike. I don't know what I'm going to label it yet. But basically, I meet Bon Scott and Jim Morrison and Randy Rhoads in hell and find out their real cause of death. So that's pretty neat. Let's get down here and let's pull this off. Now, this is what really surprised me. So if you guys saw my other video on the blue one from Brandon's Custom Shop, you'll know that had a plug-and-play wiring harness, which was pretty awesome, and amazing wiring, and full-size pots. Is this different? And that one does, the other one has P90s in it, by the way. So here we are. Yes, totally different. No shielding, just regular dime size CF pots with the green chiclet pills. They're 500K pots. I've pulled them out. They're 500K dime size pots. They do the job very well. Whatever they're doing, I don't care what they look like. They work good. Wiring is standard wiring as far as I can tell without getting up in there. Maybe they have a plug on it someplace, but I'm not going to start tugging on anything. Very possible that it is plug and play and it's just shoved up in there. It's routed out like it's, because it's a square routing that they did. It's square. So I have a feeling that there's a plug in there, but I'm not going to tug on it. I don't think I'm going to tug on it to pull and see, but I'm going to guess that it is a plug wiring harness. And if we ever have to tackle anything wrong, we'll know, but let's, so take that for what it is, guys. And that's what the amazing thing about this was. I expected full-size pots in this. I really did. Doesn't have them. But am I bitching? No, because it sounds so good. I can't bitch. It sounds so good. So how can I bitch? I can't be that guy that says, that sees it and says they're not full-size pots, therefore they have to sound like shit. No, they don't. As a matter of fact, I just purchased some 500K pots for a Les Paul build that are dime-sized, and that is a plug-and-play harness also. Dime-sized, and I just got them in my old Relic LP, and they sound fantastic. So I can't complain. And what you can put, you can do values, you can do anything you want, but what it comes down to in the end is how it sounds when you plug it in. And there is no measurement for that other than your ears. Okay, so I got that done. I'm going to do a quick clean on the back of this now. Just a quick clean up because I do have some debris. So I'll put some, it's just a spray cleaner on the rag right now until I get around to waxing up the whole thing. There we are. Just getting a nice clean off real quick. Like I said, this is my player. I've been playing this every day. So, there she is, boys and girls. This is the Brandon's Custom Shop. That wild style, you could say. Bullseye guitar. And quite fond of it. You know we call them the Ooey Babies. What do you call them? Babies. So there you have it. All done. It looks pretty good, right? Alright, thanks for watching, folks. Guys, if you have any questions, just drop them in the comment section below. And remember, check out that Mr. Mike series. They're quite comical. Keep in mind, it's done kind of rough, but on purpose. Thanks, guys.